Laurie Huston's News for the Heart is dedicated to helping you give a voice to your own soul. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggles that keep us from awakening to our true essence. Join Laurie now as we delve into our heart and soul to find the path that will open us to the possibilities and lead us to the life we love to live.
And good afternoon. This is News for the Heart. Well, this should be an interesting show. We had to do a little bit of healing for me on the topic that we're going to bring in. So it's a good show. It's the second Tuesday, so that means I have the awesome Tracy McBurney with me. So we are going to talk, well, it's going to be an interesting show, but we're going to start with money because, well, let's face it. I think everybody has had some little piece of fear attached to what's going on with the markets, with what's going on everywhere else. So welcome to the show, Trace.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the laugh.
Yeah, wasn't sure that was going to happen today.
Good girl. Okay, well, so as I was saying before we got on the show, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I've had the same experience in the last couple of weeks with being pulled to something that I had with Body Talk last month, where I was being pulled back into Body Talk to go back into the textbooks, to go back into re-looking at some things, to find things in the textbook that had never been brought forward in the classes that I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I needed them for my son, and I needed the understanding, it turned out, for another client, and I needed it for myself. And so it was that pull. Well, the same thing was happening in the last couple of weeks. It's being pulled into finances. I'm like, no, I do not go gently into this topic. And it literally has been pulled. Like just really getting out of bed early, getting down, starting to read. Also very interesting that I don't like reading in the computer. Like I'm not a Kindle book reader. I'm not any of that. I like to read books. But I've literally been engaged for 18 chapters of this book. It starts with gold and it's all on the computer. And I don't seem to be bothered by it. In fact, which I found extraordinarily interesting because I don't like spending a lot of time in computer world. And so, but all of this book that I'm being pulled to read is computer Kindle. And so it's been being called to book 3 appointments with investment people. So these are people that are smart around money. I don't consider myself to be smart around money. I don't like feeling stupid. I don't like feeling foolish. I'm afraid of asking foolish questions. And so, but the pull to book the meeting with these individual 3 people that are going to be giving me information that's going to be complicated information, about 3 individual topics that are all connecting into money. And as I said to you before, I was really feeling like something significant is going to happen in these markets, like something significant is going, and it's going to negatively impact my money and everybody's money if I don't learn some things, get some things, make some changes. I need to make some changes. I need to make quality changes. It's like pull. And so I've learned. And I had these meetings, and I was saying to you, I had these meetings. I had these difficult meetings. I asked some interesting questions. I actually had a gentleman in the meeting with the gold. I had him give me a look that literally, I just thought, I asked you a question that totally screwed you up in a good way. I could see your brain just kind of going, I never thought about that. And I could just see he was going to get off the phone, my having asked that question. And it troubled him because something just went poof, like a spell just broke open. That's for a different day. And what I thought, I've seen that look in somebody's eyes where their brain just goes, and it's like some way that you've been engaged with something has just been broken open whether it's in a relationship or whether it's something to do with work. And in this particular case, it was this man and gold, and how he had perceived what was going on. And so it was, I want to have another conversation with him about it. But so there I am, learning all of this, doing all these difficult things, getting up early, sitting in these books, making my notes, like 50 something pages of notes from this book. It starts with gold, and really, really finding it fascinating to understand the history of money and the history of the US dollar and the history of some things that really have deeply impacted finances and investment for the world. And just kind of going, I learned maybe a little bit of that in school, but not much, and very interesting history. So, and I realized that I liked history. That I remember liking history, and I thought I only liked history really because of the teacher that I had in grade 13 history. And now I realize, no, I actually like history. I like learning about some of these things when I'm actually interested in the topic. And I guess I'm a little interested in the history of money and the nefariousness and the corruption, of course. But then think about it. Like, what do I do in my office? The corruption in the government of people. Well, this is the corruption in the government and in the whole idea of money. And so I guess I'm really quite interested in the corruption connecting into money, and the potential corruption connecting into gold.
And I do want to say that this is probably also related to the fact that Venus has been in retrograde since the beginning of March. And I only bring that in because most people think Venus, it's all about love, so relationships and stuff, that's the thing. But Venus is also all about money. It's about beauty, problems that we've been having in the last 6 weeks. We're done. We're almost done. We're almost to the end of it. So I believe next week we'll feel a little bit fresher, but yeah.
So good for you to tell me that. Like, I know you and you said that to me before the show, and then you said, well, don't do anything about, get the answers to your questions, because that's what I'm prepared to do now, is get the very quality more answers to the questions. And you said, well, don't do anything until Friday. Like, don't push the button on anything until Friday. And I was just like, and you told me. I was like, how super cool. But the piece that you didn't tell me, which is the beauty piece. So I'm going to get back to the money in a second, but tell me what you know about beauty and Venus.
Well, Venus is, that's why money comes into it, because it's all about beauty. We sort of see money as this, I don't know, almost like it's a derogatory term, or I think we'll get into the thing about what you discovered, but it's about beauty, and beauty is about spending. It's about giving. It's about sharing. Beauty isn't just the physical beauty. It's all beauty. And so money has somehow been associated with it because it's in its proper sense. It should be beautiful. Money should be a gift, something we receive, something we share, something we love. Instead, we've sort of seen it as this big problem. So when Mars goes retrograde, well, that's about inaction. But when Venus goes retrograde, it can fall into the aspects of money. And they always say, don't get any skin issue, like don't get any surgeries that make you feel better, or don't change your hair, or all these silly things that they say. But in the case of what I know is Venus and money go together because it's about beauty. We love to share. We love to buy. We love to create. And that's Venus. And I know you're looking something up.
I am, because I have this book that Greg Braden created, where he put it together, correlated it. That's pretty funny. He correlated the information. And the one place that I was guided to, because I was guided to the book, and it's called Wisdom Codes. Mm. And so when I went, I just literally held the book and I said, is there anything in the book that is for me today? And it was like, yes, it was. And I landed on the beauty prayer, Wisdom Code number 12. And there are two ways to work with the the wisdom code in this particular section, and one is very short. And it literally is a very simple statement. In beauty I walk. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk. With beauty above me I walk. With beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again. 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 And he has a way of recommending that before people recite that, they literally come into the head to heart, beautiful connection between the two, coherence connection. Coming into the gratitude place, he likes to do that, bringing in the gratitude. And then coming down to heart, and then saying those words from heart. And then he delivers us the longer version of this beauty code. The beauty that you live with, the beauty that you live by, the beauty upon which you base your life. And so you're just feeling the energy of that. Like this, I'm happy that you're saying this, because this is why I'm changing my investments. I'm making changes in my investments because they don't operate like this. You know, my being invested in NVIDIA stock that I made some nice money from until it was all wiped away. And my Apple stock made some money from that, and then it was all wiped away right back to almost the price that I bought it at, which means I really didn't make any money. I might as well have just left my money in the bank. But, you know, so it just, these investments weren't beautiful to me. They seemed like, oh, maybe they're going to make me some money. They're going to make me some money. You know, if I got Apple at this good price, I think I can make a little money from that. Got NVIDIA at a fairly good price. Oh, look, it's gone up. Yeah, I make some money from that. But is my heart in that? Is my heart with that? Is that a beautiful investment? Is that a beautiful investment? Is it investing in beautiful things? It is investing in something that's creating a more beautiful world. Is it a better world? Maybe it is. Maybe investing in Apple, NVIDIA, and all this is investing in a better world, but not one I can engage with. You know, it's about me engaging with this. So one of the investments that I want to be involved in now is an investment. It's a private investment. It's a REIT, and it's about creating apartment buildings. It's about creating apartment buildings and apartment living and student housing all over Canada. And I went, that sounds delicious. That sounds like something I want to be a part of. And I looked at some of these buildings and I went, they care about beauty. It's so cool that you're saying this. They care about beautiful. They care about making the common areas beautiful, the places where people are living beautiful. They care about making these spaces look almost like condos, but they're not condos and nobody's paying a condo fee. They're paying an apartment rental fee. And I'm so happy that you said that you didn't say that about Venus earlier. So I'm so happy that you said that. And that's one of the changes I want to make. Like just investing from a greater connection with my heart, not with this connection of, oh, what's the place where I can put this money so I have a chance of making a lot of money or really good money, or because that's what I just want to make is really good money this year. And it's like, yeah, I'd like to make really good money this year, but I want more than that. I've always wanted more than that. In fact, making money has never been the number one priority in my life. The making of money, the service to people. And so I like this investment because it feels like it really is serving people. It really is serving what it is that we really need more of in this country right now. Do I think we've gone a bit insane with the amount of immigration that we brought in? Yes, I think we've been insane about it. I think we've been very offside with it. But if it's staying, and if the immigration is staying, and if these people are staying, they need somewhere to live, because it's not delicious to see people living on the streets. It's not delicious to see people camping out in parks. this is not delicious and this needs to stop and it needs to change. So can I be a part of that change by putting some money that I have invested in some stocks that I could care less about, whether they're with the good, bad, and different, the mutual funds that I could care less about, could I take some of that money and put it here? And the answer is yes. That feels really good to me. Beautiful and delicious. The beauty that you live with, the beauty that you live by, the beauty upon which you have your life. I think this is a beautiful investment. And I'm going to get the answers that my brother told me. He's the investment banker. So he said, these are the questions that you need to ask to get these answers before you step in with your money. And then that person that you're going to ask those questions of is going to think that you're a savvy investor. I'm going to go, yeah, I'm a savvy investor. I got a guy by my side called my brother who's giving me all these really cool questions. Some of them I thought of myself, but some of them I had no concept of. And so the complete and formal English translation, in beauty I walk. So coming down to heart. So coming down to heart, just coming into that place and just kind of thinking that, or repeating it if you want. In beauty I walk. With beauty before me, I walk. With beauty behind me, I walk. With beauty above me, I walk. With beauty around me, I walk. It has become beauty again. 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 My beautiful investments. I want to create beautiful investments that serve others in beautiful ways that are engaging with my heart, that serve me, in other words, to get some nice, reasonable return on those investments. I want to create beautiful investments where I can serve, because that's what I've always done, where I can serve by delivering some of my money there. And then I can be served. And that's the interesting place. That's always been the interesting place. It's allowing me to be served also. Receiving back money, maybe receiving back money, receiving back gifts, receiving back. The receiving piece has always been the issue. The service piece, I've never had an issue with service. I've never had an issue with service. I was like the best employee. Tell me what your rules are. I'll follow your rules. If they seem really unreasonable to me, like crazy unreasonable to me, then I'm just not working for you. But I'll follow your rules and I'll be your best server. Because that's what I do. I serve to my best. Whether it's in this office, whether it's the candy girl behind the candy counter when I was 15 and shouldn't really have had a job then. It's just like, I'll serve at a level like I own that candy bar at the University Theater. That's my candy bar. I own it. And I'm taking care of it at that level. For all the 1,256 customers that are going to come in for all of those frickin' shows. That was crazy, Tim.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, actually 1,200 because they didn't sold 56 of those seats. So 1,200 people coming in for each one of those shows because there was always blockbuster shows at that theater for the longest time.
Busy.
Yeah. So this is to see investments like that, to see that I don't have to be different than I've always been. I can still be the person that cares about service. I can still be the person serving others in this way by choosing the right investments that serve them in a way that feels delicious to me and beautiful to me and just rings true in my heart. and then allowing for me to receive back. So that's been the piece that I've had to do some work on, the allowing me to receive back from that place of service. And I remember a woman in a class that we were doing, this would be years ago now, and it was really kind of a shocking moment. There were about 30 of us in the class, and she was literally, doing this really cool piece where she's saying to the people in the class, so how many people in this class really just see themselves as people of service, that see themselves as people that give and generously give and see themselves as having generous hearts? And everybody's hand is going up in the class, I think pretty much, maybe one not, but pretty much everybody. And she said, all right, and how many people now really just see themselves easily receiving gifts from other people, just easily receiving compliments, just easily receiving? And so she named off all these things, and maybe like a third of the people in the room put their hands up at that point, because this was all about receiving. And then she looks and she says, okay, the rest of you there that didn't put up your hands for what I just said about all these things, the receiving pieces, all right, so you got a circulation problem. Like, she dumped that. You have a circulation problem. Now, if you don't actually sort this out, this giving and receiving operating in balance, then how long is it going to be before that circulation problem manifests at the physical level? So I'll just leave you with that thought. And then it's like, and everybody's just kind of, digesting that into their gut. This idea of, oh, I don't want a circulation problem. I don't want that. But she really beautifully simplified it.
Right.
And so for the people that just really had not been free to put up their hands in the receiving place, they really kind of walked away from that class going, well, I think I got some work to do. I don't quite know how to do it, or who to do it with, or how to get that job done. But I need to change this. I need to change this. My ability to receive, and to receive freely. Kind of in the same kind of unconditional way that the giving always seemed to go out with.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few of us that might have that issue.
Yeah, so that's been my couple of weeks, is being pulled into that education, being pulled into these difficult places, because I just found learning about money, being with money. So I wasn't really interested in learning about money. I was interested in learning about energy medicine. I was interested in learning about nutrition. I was interested in learning about how the body worked. I was interested in learning biology, not physics, not math. To a certain point I could get math, and math was okay until it got into the calculus realm. And it's like, no, I got to walk away from this. This is it. This is monkey business. But of course, people that want to, then I'm asking my brother, who's, incredibly gifted in math, can you walk the quantum physics road with me? Let's talk quantum physics. And he's like, monkey business. I'm like, well, your money stuff gets just too complicated and becomes monkey business to me. And so, so it's interesting. So I was being pulled to all of this because I knew, I just had this real sense that something really big, like 2008 or worse, was coming down on us very soon. And I wanted to be on the better end of it. Like, I wanted to have made some changes and some choices that were good choices, where I could just kind of dodge the bullet of all of that. And so I was right hunkered in on this, and I just hadn't pushed the button to make this choice, or to make any choice of change. And then everything starts to collapse. And I don't even think we're finished with the collapse. And so it makes me sound very wealthy, right? I have 2 investment portfolios. It's hilarious. My dad created one with TFSA money, and He's no longer here, but he created one, and I call it my dad's money in my brain. It's my dad's money. It's not really my money. It's got my name on it, my social insurance number. It's my dad's money. And then there's the money that's my money, that I made from my blood, sweat, and tears, that I made from my desire to invest and do the due diligence of stuff that I didn't do when I was younger. My money. And that money has lost a nice, well, considering the size of the portfolio, which is not large, it's lost $13,000 since January. Coming up till, and that's a lot of money for me. That's a lot of money from that portfolio. In fact, what I said to you before we got on this call is that wiped out all of the nice earnings that I got from NVIDIA, all of the nice earnings that I got from Apple, all of the nice earnings that I got from Oracle, like gone. So I'm kind of right back to where I was with where I bought those stocks from. And I'm like, well, this was a fun ride. Now, I could have gotten off the ride before I made the decision. I could have gotten off the ride last week, the week before. I could have done that. Gotten off the ride, just move stuff to cash and let it sit in cash. I didn't make that choice. I was just trying to be savvy to kind of go, okay, I'm just going to learn this and then move it. And anyway, it didn't work. So why I mention it is because I found myself in the same place. I found myself in the same place of thinking, wow, my investments go nowhere. Mm. I put this money in, I do this work, and they just go nowhere. They go up. I've had some success. I've had more success in my investing with the stuff that I wanted to invest in, me wanted to invest in, not somebody else telling me, but me wanting, than I've ever had in my life, and now it's gone. But I did have some success making the right choices, I thought, until it was gone. And I couldn't make the choice to sell that stuff last week. I couldn't do that. I couldn't see that moment, that delicious moment where it's like, no, pull the ripcord, move it into cash. Warren Buffett had moved out of these stocks. He moved, like, and I like listening to what Warren Buffett's doing, but wasn't following that. Why? Because I think I was still engaged with that old place. I think I was still, there was something still hanging on to the, no, this is your reality, right? And so I honestly think that that might actually be the truth, is that no matter how much work I thought I'd done, that was still there. That reality of who I am as the investment part, whatever, was still there. And so it couldn't fall any other way, other than the way it did. Except it gets to change now. Because as I said to you, it's like I was there for only a short time. Like a short time I was there in the pity party of, oh, look, here I am again. Here I am again, investments going nowhere. Here I am again, poor me, here I am again. I was there for an hour. I was there for 2 hours, maybe 3. Like really feeling the sadness of that, like really feeling that I divinely hugged me and went, no, I've learned so much. I've learned so much. I know more now than I've ever known about the corruption, I know I've learned so much. And I've learned that I don't want to be part of any of that. I've learned that I don't have to dance with that. To invest money, I don't have to dance with any of that. I don't have to be with any of that. I don't have to be invested in anything that has any connection to that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to play in those ballparks. So it is going to change. Because if I'm invested in that way, then it's always going to go that way. Unless I can find that delicious moment, intuitively find that delicious moment to pull that out before the elites crash it again, then it's always going to be that way. because I don't see myself in this lifetime as being one of the elite billionaire, millionaire, blah, blah, blah. That's not me. I'm too engaged with service to humanity in a way that is supportive to humanity and to humanity's continued living. So it's just not going to be me doing that. So it is changing. It is changing. And I guess I needed to find at least one fund, one place that felt really deliciously beautiful to start the process of moving some money into a different place. And I'm going to find more. I'm going to find more of these places for my money that are good places that serve people and that serve livelihood and that serve people's best interests and serve all the things that I would like to be a part of. And then that also deliver back to me a reasonable return, maybe a lovely return, but at least a reasonable return for the fact that I've put my money there. So I'm going to find more. I found one. So I'm going to get the answers to the quality questions that my brother asked me to ask. And then I'm going to literally, regardless of how much money has been gone, I'm going to start the process of investing money in a different place other than the places that are always going to get hijacked. So I needed to change how I was investing. I needed to change who I was investing with. I needed to understand some of this stuff. I needed to understand the nefariousness of it. I needed to see the corruption of it and to go, no, I don't want to engage with that. I don't want to play with that. Those don't feel like nice people to play with. Because they're not operating the way that I operate. We're just not simpatico. So I just don't want to play with them or engage with them or play their game. And I needed to find out that there were other investment games that didn't play those games. And that's cool things to start to know. But this is operating in, it's going against the grain. So again, I'm going against the grain. You know, the person in the family that doesn't become the doctor, that doesn't become the lawyer, the person in the family becomes the energy medicine practitioner, and now the person in the family that's investing in private investments rather than public investments, and that's it, right? And so that's kicking up some red flags. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to recognize being the person in the family that's always seems to be doing something a little different. But having said that, in a conversation with my brother, because we don't really talk about any of this, but he then tells me today that he's in a private fund investment that is out of, like, it's unaffordable to me. I just don't make the amount of money. I don't have that kind of money to spend. But that he's in a private investment, not with the people that he thinks are the be all and end all of finance, but somebody who told him about these people, but they're private finance. So they're over here in another wheelhouse, and he's invested in student housing. So yeah, so I just thought, wow. So it's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So even though I might think I'm the only person in the family that's doing things a little bit differently, he's walking that road too, where he's investing quite a large amount of money in student housing in a private fund. Well, he's dancing, I'm sure, a lot with what I consider the more nefarious stuff that I just want to kind of get out of. Because it's not beautiful. Yeah, so Yeah, so and I love the fact that you landed this idea of Venus and money and beauty and all of this while the retrograde's happening. Like all of that, well, Venus is operating in retrograde, so it's slowed down. It's not going backwards, it's just slowed down. And it is, I think it's given me an opportunity to look at some of my own beauty issues, so it gives me an understanding of why it was that my psychology this month has gone back to how ugly I felt as a child and how ugly I felt as a teenager. And it's interesting that you're saying this because you're giving me a context for why am I in these conversations with myself? Why am I investigating this? Why am I looking at this? Why am I privately standing up on my own in my living room, testing just a couple of nights ago, do I see myself unconsciously as ugly? Like, am I still holding on to that? Like, I am ugly. And I'm literally standing in the north of my house. I'm no kidding. I'm doing this just a couple of days ago. So now I'm thinking, is this all because Venus is sitting here, moving in this, like slowing down and pushing this up to be looked at and to be reevaluated? And so at the unconscious level, I was still holding, I am ugly. And it's an interesting thing to sit with. Because to me, I always felt as a child that I had two beautiful parents. Like really good looking mother and very good looking father. Like Burt Reynolds, good looking father. And then there's me. Like then there's the girl of me. And I'm not beautiful like that. I'm not beautiful like my father. I'm not beautiful like my mother. I'm not beautiful at all. I'm not beautiful at all. And so, like, how did I get in this family? Like, and then you get to be the teenager who's the only kid in the family who has the braces and the headgear and everything else. Like, challenges the beauty piece.
Right. That's kind of funny, but no, it's
and all of the imprinted information from that. And I was looking at that. And I'll get off the call today and I'll think about that and I'll just ask questions about, is that why? Is that why? Is that why this was coming up? That Venus slowed down is giving me an opportunity. So even though I felt like was it Venus pulling me? Like, what was pulling me? I've just been feeling pulled to read that book. And I will say to you, it is an interesting book. I'm being paid no money to mention this book on your site, but it's an interesting book. It's called It Starts with Gold. And it's interesting because it's a simple read. Like, it's complicated. Like, there's complicated information, but it's quite simple to read. And there's some really interesting history pieces that are in this book that I just think they just get you thinking. And I very much enjoyed the book. I felt it to be quite repetitive, but I guess if you're dealing with people that just have no financial knowledge at all, then I think that's maybe not a bad idea to just keep repeating stuff. But it got repetitive enough that I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done with that. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's good. It's a 99. What is he selling for? 99 cents. It's 99 cents on Amazon right now. And he's let it go for that price because I think he really just wants the world to know more about what the truth of the corruption of money on this planet is. And it's of service, to be of service. Like, I'm sure he's making cents on the dollar for the selling of this book. It really is not that for him. So the first author is Peter, I can't remember the last name, Peter, and he's Adrian Spitter, but it really gets found by Peter, and the last name I can't remember. And it's not a book that I can go find because it's on my computer and I'm talking to you on my computer. So I'm sorry about that.
to me and I can put it in the.
I'll send it to you and you can access it. But anyway, I don't get paid any money to tell you that. And I'm not an influencer. I just feel like it's a good book for people that really feel like I don't know anything about the history of money. I don't know anything about the history of how all this has worked and the corruption that we are all engaged with right now with regard to money. And we are all engaged with it. And it's being repaired now. It's being uprooted now. It's being found out now. It's being engaged with now. We're going to shift all of what is going on with money and us. And I don't know how this is all going to pan out. I really don't. And we are on an interesting ride. But I think my part is just to be with my heart. My part is to take the money that I have that I can invest. If I have any money to invest in right now, I haven't lost it all. I've lost my profit from the last 5 years, but I haven't lost it all. So I still have money to invest where my heart would like to invest it. And that's the best that I can do. And I think that's a good change. It's a good change. And it's a good change for me. It feels good to me. It feels like I'm doing something that I'm proud of. I'm proud to talk about it. I'm proud to tell people about it. Centurion, by the way, is the name of the fund that I'm going to put some money into, or the name of the company that is got, I think, 159 properties that are apartment properties and student. And apparently they're building a giant student housing building in downtown Toronto. Looks beautiful from the picture. I'm happy to be a part of something like that. You know, we need more housing and we need more apartments, not condos with, $1 million condo fees. We need housing and apartments, and this company is making apartments for Toronto. So I'm proud of that. And, the tipping point, like Malcolm Caldwell's book, The Tipping Point. How many people does it take? He says not too many. Doing really wonderful, heartfelt things, making good changes, and how many people before it just changes for everyone. And there is a tipping point. So I'm investing from heart, investing from not my pained, wounded heart, investing from light within my heart, coming from that place. Yeah, investing from my light.
Did you want to talk about the unworthiness?
Yeah, do we have time? Do we have time? Good. Well, the other thing that comes in the last couple of weeks, I'm on the phone with my girlfriend. She lives in Portugal now. She's exited out of Canada, and I'm on the phone with her. And she's telling me that she's just in the middle of a book that she's reading called the Arcturian Anthology. And she's found this book to be incredibly interesting. And one of the things she wanted to share with me is this idea that the Arcturian Anthology is bringing forward about genetic mutations in humans, implants for unworthiness, connecting into what we're just calling the race of humans, humanity here. So in other words, the fabric of humanity here having a genetic mutation alteration that literally connects to an implant for unworthiness that is with all humans until it's not. But how can it not be with humans if you don't know about it, or if you don't have somebody helping you with it, or if you don't have like a 4th level healing person helping millions of people with that, then we stay engaged with that. And the way I saw it is that that's where we're coming from. That implant of unworthiness, badness, that implant interfering with our capacity to engage more fully with ourselves. with the truth of ourselves, with the light of ourselves, with the love within us, making it more difficult to connect to what I call that core light place within us, which leaves us connecting into dark core stories and engaging with those. So now we're creating ourselves here on this planet from that faulty foundational place, which is not truthful, and we're not engaged with what is truthful. And now we're building ourselves from that place, from faulty wiring and faulty ideas. Like I'm building myself into my best self or my greater self. I'm building it from that I'm not enough place, that unworthy place. So I've got to repair that. I've got to become enough. I've got to be acceptable from that place of feeling unacceptable. Now I've got to repair that. I've got to be acceptable. I've got to change that outside of me to you. I've got to change your opinion of me. I've got to get the approval from outside. I've got to do all of that. I'm going to build my tree of life. I'm going to grow my tree of life from that place. And that's what we've been doing. We've been opening doors, growing our tree of life from that faulty foundational place of unworthiness. And when we access the truth of us, there's all of this crazy part of the implant that gets us disengaged with that, sabotages the engagement with that, brings us into doubt, brings us into fear, brings us into terrified, brings us out of being connected to that place over and over and over again.
Feel that?
Yeah. So that's for all of us. But I like that concept of then we built from that. We built from that unworthiness. We built from those inner feelings of not enoughness. We built from the, dad responding in a certain way to us. And then from that unworthy place within us and from that anger that we have to our dad, we're building our whole life from the fuck you, dad, I'm going to show you place. I'm sorry, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
But I built I built a nice amount of me from that place. From that I'll show you, dad place. I'll show you what I can do. I'll show you my worth because you leave every day. You talk to me and disrespect. You talk to me. You give me no time, but you give my little brother all this time. So I'll show you how important I am. I'll show you, I'll get your approval and I'll get your validation in a different way. And how many doors did I open from that I'll show you place? How many places did I bravely walk in where I was terrified because that I'll show you place was coming from me? So then I look and I say, if this is the way it was, if I had that unworthiness implant, then I needed somebody behaving that way in my field to inspire me to open any door in my tree of life, to grow me in any way.
Yeah.
So then I have to say, I love you, Dad. Boy, we are at different ends so much. You wanted things your way. I wanted things my way. I wanted things my way because I needed to show you my value, my worth, my worthiness to have 10 minutes of your time. I needed to get your opinion of me changed. So, yeah, it's like, I love you, Dad. You were exactly what I needed. You behaving the way that you behave, your patriarchal designs inside of you, your mind constructs that were so patriarchally anchored. I needed you like that to piss me off, to inspire, to try and get your respect, to try and get anybody's respect. I needed you. But with this unworthiness genetic implant, none of what I did, none of the places, doors I opened, none of them undid that implant. And so I built myself to be whatever that was. And when that didn't work, where did I find myself? Back with the pure implant. And how long was I just staying there before something would come along, somebody would come along to inspire the next moment from anger, from upset, from that I would build me again. I don't know. This is my story. Maybe, have you built any you from anger? Look at her. I love
Really?
it. If people could see the face, I loved it. I loved it. Oh my God. That was classic.
Yeah. Anger, upset, frustration,
Yeah.
unworthiness, believing 100%.
Yeah, but not from love.
Oh,
Not from a connection to you in love. To the you that is love. I built me from anger. I built me from fearfulness. I built me from terrified.
built me from abandonment. I built me from, yeah.
And wanting to make that better.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about the karmic entitlement to the inner wounding. I built me from the wound. I built me from there. I built me from there. Do I even get a life if it's not there? Do I ever get a life if that's healed? If I bring full healing to that, how do I live? How do I live? This is what has inspired me. Is this the death of me? You're literally, then I just succumb, then life is over. Like I bring that full healing into that wound and then life is over. It's like, no. But that implant needs to go.
And that comes from
Never allowed for you or me or anybody else to literally comfortably sit with the core light of them and build their life from that place. And build their dreams from that place. And find their passions from that place. It was impossible to stay in that place long enough to build much of anything that didn't get hijacked. It's neat just to sit with that. I know that we're sitting in radio and so, but when I'm leaving dead space, but it's like I'm leaving dead space because there's a delicious feeling with this. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want to live a human life with this implant anymore. And they're telling me when I was researching it that there are other implants that came in through other extraterrestrial energetic interference that can be released and found and released at the same time. It's almost like they were playmates. It's almost like humanity at that time was being played with, like toys. Well, let's just do this. Let's just insert this because we can. Let's just insert this into the genetic code because we can. Well, there's a fundamental rule in my office that I kind of live by. Could I? Should I? Would I? Can I? Can I? Should I? And if I turn to you, God, or divine intelligence within, or light with heart within, would you? From that place of that depth of clarity, would you do this that I'm just about to pull the trigger on? So they, whoever they were, did this because they could. That was it. I'm just doing it because I can do it. with no other questions after that. No rudder of any kind of morality or ethic after that. I'm just doing this because I can, because I'm rich, because I'm whatever, because I can. Because I have the power and I can.
We haven't been seeing that in the news at all.
Not at all. Could I, should I, would I? The could I, should I, would I roll, is that actually being followed? The would I being connecting to the core light, the inner light within heart, going down, 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 down to find the light within heart and asking from that place, would you, light within heart, would you do this? Would you operate this way? Would you sort the problems of the United States of the world this way? Would you do it this way? And if the answer comes back no, then stay in the light within heart place and get some guidance, because that connects to the truth and light and information and wisdom of all universe, the cosmos. Everything is available to us from that place. And just sitting in that light within heart place. Well, then if that's off the table, then how would you do this? How would you do this? What would be the first priority? I'm sitting with you. What would be the first priority? What would I then do first? Where would I go first? What would you, light within heart, engage with first? So I'm just wondering, because I don't think that's happening. I don't think people are engaging at the depths of themselves. But do I blame them? No. We've got this P of corruption of mutation at the genetic code level that's making it difficult for people to access that place and to stay in that place and be with that place. And so these have been now that I know this, these have been the prayers that I have been asking for. That these genetic codes be lifted, neutralized, snipped out, that they be divinely administered to worldwide as people are open to that change. Because I can do all the praying that I want to do as people are open to that change, because I don't want to be interfering with people's free will. Because this is very engaged with people's wounding. This has been very engaged with how people are building their life. This is an interesting change that I am asking for and that I'm envisioning. But that's what I want for humanity. A complete freedom from these the mutations of alteration and implant, one or more, one that I know of specifically from the Arcturians, which is one of unworthiness. What if it's true? What if it's true? What if it's true that there are these genetic mutation implants, one of which being for unworthiness, several others maybe from other places, imprinted into the genetic code, non-beneficial, negatively impacting, interfering with people being able to access their own light, their own connection to love? What if it's true? What if it's true? Would you like you to continue to operate like that? Would you like divine help with that? Would you like your light within heart to help you with that? Would you be prepared to release all bindings, all anchorings, all things that are interfering with your light within heart, actually doing that for you? What if all of that is true and your light within heart can take care of that? Would you say yes to that and then allow for that change? And allow your light within heart connecting to your divinity, connecting to your beautiful light master self to take care of that on your behalf, deliciously, beautifully, the right way. The right way. Knowing exactly what the first priority is, the second priority is of unwrapping things for you, just the right way for you. Clearing all this stuff and all the timelines that this would be engaged with, all the soul lifetimes that this would be engaged with, everywhere that this has been bound to. Your light within heart knows all of that, can see all of that, and knows exactly what to do first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, blah, 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 until you are then completely freed from these mutations. Heart heals. Heart knows. Light within heart knows.
All right. Well, great show, Trace. Again, because let me tell you,
From money to mutations.
From money to mutations. I like it.
To the clearing up of all of it.
All right. You've been listening to News for the Heart. We've been getting the heart with matters with Tracy McBurney, and apparently from money to mutations.
The clearing of all of it. The resetting of all of it.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay. All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay.